Hey, old gaming guru here. So I'm going to show you my update to my build. I'm now level 95. I've got a Slayer, and this tune is pretty well kitted out for tier 16s now. It's doing about 2.7 million damage. I could take it up to 3.2, no problem, but then I would reduce some of my tankiness. So I'm now trying to get it to 5 million, but I just thought I'd give you a brief look at this. My goal right now is to farm gold for the mechanic and also to find some better gear. Let me just show you what I've got floating around here. And next I'll do my POB after this video, but I just want to show you a map. But what I've got here is a decent helmet, a decent shield, uh, uh, okay. It's like a 2 divine twin claw. I'm pulling life and mana per hit with that, so that really is good. And I've also got 25 mana, 25 health on hit. So that gives me a really, really good uh, life regen and mana regen on top of my leech that I've got in my tree. And then I've got some decent gloves here, good life, chaos, and 11% suppressed spell damage. I'd like to add attack speed and also to 50% damage on leeching to that. So that is one thing as I'm looking for. My belt is okay, but it's got a nice elemental damage with attack skills. I've got some boots here that are okay. Mostly there for avoid being chilled. No health on it. That's what one of the things I'd like to change. So I'll have to look around for those. Decent rings, a really nice amulet. I could change this into the taming ring, and this would then be a lot more damage. It would give me like 3.3 million, but I'd lose the life. And this one's pretty good because it gives me 17% damage. So I think overall this gives me like 6% additional damage, where taming gives me 13% additional damage. So 7% damage I gave up for more health, more intelligence, and I got in return, this increased damage plus lightning to my attacks. So right here I've got cold, lightning, and fire. So I've got all three elements. I could try a Trinity build, just haven't gotten around to it yet. Supposedly Trinity adds a lot more damage. Without further ado, let me just jump in now and show you this map. Let's see if I can get a quick number of magic monsters on it, because I am farming gold. Desecrated ground, which has little effect on me, but if I can get a quick thing of, there we go, 23% magic monsters. Oh, okay, I can run reflect fizz, but not reflect elemental. And rare monsters. Okay, so this is a great map for getting loot and gold. So let's go run this thing. Excuse me, I've got some allergy issues going on right now, so I may sound a little hoarse at times. So I'm jumping into Orchard here. I picked this one because the boss is got a life leech. I start off with running my blood rage, and you can see my health goes down. So let's just see what I can do here on this, how I run it. And you can see, getting lots of gold, which is good. Culling Strike is working as intended. Okay, got a boss. Let's throw my tincture up and pretty much melt him. Okay. Alright, lots of these guys. I also have shrines built in. They're in my tree. And awesome, I get some more cold damage. You can see without even using my valves very much, regular mobs are pretty much 1 or 2 hits and done. Especially when they come in big packs. Alright, so let's go ahead and move towards the boss. Getting about 4,000 or 5,000 gold a map. You'll get more if you go ahead and val the map, but right now I want quick, easy maps. tons of magic monsters. As you can see, I've got either one of my elves is up on my map. So does this give me anything decent? I'll take 4 projectiles and see what that does. Probably kill me. Ah, well, got a nice reward out of that. Got all the 6 links I need. I've got a 3,800 evasion 6 link, which I'm not using. Because I really like having high armor. You know, right now I'm at 90% resist on Fizz. Like that. Let's get that. Oh, another orchard map. And Nico. Alright, let's head towards the boss again. Okay. You can see here, this is awesome. Getting a decent experience here because the number of magic monsters and rares is high. Alright, make sure my blood rage is up. Of course, the game saw I put in more projectiles, so it throws in thralls. I lost my buff before I got to the boss. Come on. But as you can see here, a really solid run. Let's try the boss out. Yeah, it had to pop a couple health potions, but all in all, really, really decent run. So this character, like I said, is pretty solid T16 material. And I wasn't running a lot of negative modifiers, but you know, the point is not to do that, but I'm just showcasing this build for you right now and where I'm at and where I'm going. I could add more damage, but 2.7 million allows me to run T16 to get the currency I need to buy some other items that are a little bit better for me that will boost my damage. I'd like to switch over to the Trinity Gem instead of the added lightning, but solid build, I think. You know, nowhere near my 40 million DPS builds that I run with my miners that I usually run. But hey, I wanted to play melee this time, so upcoming is the POB explanation. Thanks for watching. Which I just showed you in the previous video. So let's go ahead and take a look exactly what I'm doing here in my POB and what I'm expecting. I am still nowhere near 40 million DPS. So we're going to see if there's any tweaks I can do, and I'll tell you what changes I made from the last video I did. But the whole point of this is we're trying to maximize DPS at this point. So I'm just giving you an update on what I'm thinking, where I'm going to go, and I need to go check the prices on some items to actually get closer to the 40 million that I'm trying to get to with this build. And there's a lot of work to be done. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it done this league because the stuff that I need is really, really expensive. So I may just have to be really happy and stick with what I've got here and try and maybe get 6-7 million out of this guy. But he's been a lot of fun to play. It's great to go back to melee again. So let me just kind of run you through what I'm doing here and where I'm thinking about going with this. And if you have any comments, just leave me a comment. If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear new ideas. Usually when I actually copy a build, I usually end up doing as well or a little bit better than the build that I copied. So let me just give you my rundown on this. So first off, let's go and I'm doing Val Lightning Strike is the gem I'm using. And of course, we want to be in the Lightning Strike component. The burst of Val Lightning Strike, if you can get 2 of these off, pretty much wipes anything on the map. So it's great for clearing out, you know, when you have burst mobs like chests and you go in and you're around a shrine or something. So it's a great way to clear there. It's also great for bossing. So this is obviously going to do less damage, but you combine that with the damage that I do from regular Lightning Strike, and you can see I'm doing a boatload of damage when I have Val Lightning Strike up. So we want to look. So my melee hit right now is doing 2.5 million. My projectiles are doing 2.7, which is okay. Then we'll run through the rest of the character stats here. All this should be no surprise to anybody, but is You got to have a lot of strength and intelligence if you're using the build the way that I am. So I had to put a lot onto gems and rings. I've got a really high effective hit pool. I still need to bring my fizz and my chaos up, but I'm pretty tanky. I can get one shot. I've put no critical reduction, so that is something I need to maybe even think about because I do notice that if I do get hit, I get hit hard. Um, so I've got a lot of life coming back through leech. I've got that through insta, which is the life on hit, and then I've also got my leech ability since I'm Slayer. Going down here, don't mind my mana. That's not true at all. I've got reserved mana, unreserved mana. So not sure why that's showing that way. And if I keep going down, bum, 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 you can see my evasion rating here is pretty decent. I'd like to get to 80 or above, but I kept a lot of armor in my build, and I've got an incredible six link I made, which I actually hit on the seventh or eighth. You know, I got lucky. I got it to six link easily, or six sockets easily, and then I went ahead and jeweled it and get it on the seventh one. So, right now, a 72% evasion chance, 90% physical damage reduction is pretty darn tanky with a block chance of 40 and 100% spell suppression chance. And I've got really good resistances. So that leaves me a space maybe to actually put in some more damage into a ring. But I've got really, really good rings, and I've got nearly 100% movement speed modifier so I can zip through maps. All right, so strong character, not a lot of damage yet, but I'm tier 16 capable, and I pretty much can annihilate bosses if I get that lightning strike up on them. That's the regular bosses. I'm still, because I haven't played Melee so long, I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to beat some of the higher tier bosses. So let me now show you how my path out here. The tree is pretty standard Slayer tree. I go over, I start off at Slayer, I pick up the must-haves here. I went tankier and picked up in my endurance charges with all of the frenzy charges I could possibly think of. I then increased my mana so I can attack much more with Leader of the Pack. I came down, I threw a Megalomaniac in, mostly to get Fan of Blades and also more critical chance. So this is all stuff I showed before. Obviously, I now am looking for more damage. I picked this up since last time, Cornered Prey. I put a little bit of bleed in, and then I put Cornered Prey on, and that you can see is just a huge, that's 16% average damage and 18% combined damage. So that's just a beauty there. Obviously, lethality here brings me more crit strike and crit chance. Picked up life. I kept accuracy, and I could sacrifice this if I get an evade. Hits cannot be evaded, but I have not done that yet. The price of those claws is through the roof, and I have not yet finished the ability to actually craft those myself. More frenzy charges, some decent jewels, but they're mostly there for resistance. Um, Obviously, I picked up crit strike multiplier, and I did just recently pick up reduced extra critical damage, which seems to have helped a lot. So this gives me mana on hit and reduces the cost. This is my spell suppression, so I've got really good spell suppression, which is a must with almost any character. I can't really think of a way around that. Is if you don't have spell suppression, you're going to get one hit by anything that throws a fireball at you. Goatmen are notorious for one-shotting you if you don't have good spell suppression. Lots of attack speed here, lots of attack speed here. I then went over and grabbed attack damage penetrates, so I've got really good penetration on my hits, and I think I'm at like 28% right now, so that's really good. I picked up life and evasion mastery, and also I picked up more spell suppression here. I picked up another megalomaniac gem for the projectile, and also I got some additional crit multiplier and the ability to generate power charges, which makes a huge difference in my character's ability to put out damage. So right now I can run 7 endurance, 7 power, or 3 power, and 7 frenzies. And that adds so much to my damage, but it also adds a ton to my effective hit pool. And then I went up, obviously, I've got all my claws here. I went defensive on the claws. I probably should pick up the Nightblade skill here. See, that adds 6% more damage. I'll do that later. Got my Frenzy Charge and another gem slot and then life. So that's my tree, my items. I've got a Twin Claw right now, so between the tree, which gives me 25 and 25 on hit, I've also got 28 here and 10, which then leads to my leech hit on recovery of like 1200. So I'm getting 1200 per second back. So that helps me from being one shot. The hit, the life and mana on hit is an absolute must if you want instant recovery. Otherwise, you're getting back slowly. That is why I've not switched to another claw. I really like this because it really makes you tanky. I've got a really decent shield here. I could go better. It would have been nice to have, maybe got some other stats on here, but I got tons of resistance on here and a 70% chance to block, so that gives me my 40% chance to block. All right, so got a helmet. I've got a fizz damage to cold, which is excellent, which I'm not sure why it hasn't given me more fizz max hit, but anyways. So my helmet, once again, we stacked on life, tons of intelligence, and suppression of spell damage. My body armor, which I bought, it's one of the things that I bought, that the Taming Ring. My body armor is this Conquest Lamlor, which has a ton of health, spell suppression, and it also gives me a little bit of chaos. My chaos resist right now is at 45%, which is not bad. It definitely allows me to run chaos maps and also where you've got desecrated ground without too much downtime because the life on hit usually pretty much covers anything that I'm getting from desecrated ground. It also allows me to run delve really, really well. I've been really, really pleased at how well this guy's doing in delve. All right, so going down, we've got okay gloves. I got more suppression of spell damage. I also got a really critical ability, non-val skill strike, and target one additional enemy, which I could have also picked up on the tree. It's nice having it here because they give me back that point to use for something else. I've got some decent two-tone boots here. I took off the fire and cold resist and put this on. The avoid being shocked is really, really nice if there's a unique enemy present because uniques tend to throw off those little shock phantoms that just waste you really quickly, and they make you also vulnerable to more damage. I found this amulet, which I then modified, which has incredible health, 25% more lightning damage. You can see this one piece alone is adding me 13% damage. This ring, which is also decent, which gave me more intelligence, a little bit life. I had a better ring for life, but I changed it out because I could put the 17% increased damage on there with the lightning to attacks, and this then gives me 5 or nearly 6% more damage. This ring here also adds a lot of resist, more chaos resist, more life, and gives me fire damage. One of the things I could do, I could switch over to Trinity Gem and see what that does for damage, and I'll check that out in a moment. I've got a decent, not my best belt, but the primary thing is high chaos here, more armor, and 25% increased elemental damage. For flasks, I'm still running really defensive. My two main ones here are, of course, Onslaught and this Prismatic Tincture. This is just a beast. 8% penetration of elemental resist, 113% increased elemental damage with melee weapons. So that's just amazing. My other two are life and life mana because I do notice that when I use my tincture, I do tend to run out of mana, and I can go up and run and hit something, but I don't like running out of mana And I could probably get rid of these two and add some other more offensive flasks and get my DPS up. I'll check that out. And my jewels I already told you about. My other jewels are basically just where I can, resistances and health, plus a little bit of damage. Nothing major there. So that's pretty much for the layout here. For my configuration, just so you know, I use power charges, frenzy charges. I am elusive. I am leeching. I have killed recently, and I've been hit recently. I've got my war cries and my sigil of power up. Sigil of power adds a ton of damage if you stand in it long enough and my banner planted. Right now, I'm just looking at main mobs. I'm not looking at bosses. And then obviously I have all my status effects up because I have fire, cold, and hit and everything. And then the enemy is now bleeding too. So that then gives me combined DPS of 2.7 million. And as far as skills, Val Lightning Strike, I've got Steel Skill Automation on. I've got Vengeful Cry set up so when I get hit, it procs. Elemental Weakness procs when I get hit, so that then debuffs the enemies. I've got Grace, Precision, Herald of Thunder as my buffs. I could go with another damage buff, but I have not got enough mana to actually do another buff. So these three really are solid. The build I was modeling actually used the anger, and it just takes too much mana for me to use, so I don't know how much more that would give me. I use Shock Nova to make sure that everything near me is shocked at a high level. As you can see here, I've got anger and leveling, but I'm not doing much with it. Defiance Banner. Blood Rage, I've got up. Obviously, that is one of my main buffs because it gives me so much more damage, attack speed. It does, tick off your life. My life regen and life on hit gets over that, so we're pretty good there. And then Sigil of Power. So that's pretty much it for my POB. And then this video. So I thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you get something out of it. If you have any questions or comments, just throw them down in the section below. Don't forget to like or subscribe. Old Gaming Guru out.